In that heart of Singapore, on the vibrant Joo Chiat Road, I found myself in an unusual living situation. A semi-residential / office building that, despite its oddity, helped cut down on rent. The structure, modern for its time, offered solace with amenities like a rooftop swimming pool and gym. My language skills were limited to a smattering of Malay and Mandarin. I preferred places where English was spoken when I ventured out alone. One evening I decided to dine at Kampong Café, a cozy mamak place down the road. The ambience was serene, with just a few occupied tables, including one where an Asian man in his mid-40s sat on the table next to mine. Little did I know, this decision would mark the beginning of an unsettling encounter. I asked the server in Malay if he spoke English, and then proceeded to place my order in English. I noticed the middle-aged Asian man looking over, watching as I ordered. After a moment, he remarked in English with a Malay accent, "Your Malay sounds good." I thanked him, hoping to keep the conversation at a minimum. However, the man persisted, initiating a one-sided language lesson that bordered on annoying and creepy. My attempts to look down at my phone and look busy did little to deter him. He delved into personal questions about my background, occupation, and residence. My answers remained vague, but he seemed undeterred. The situation became unsettling when he remarked, "You sound very sexy when you speak in Malay." I shot him a disapproving look, hoping to put an end to the conversation. Ignoring my discomfort, he persisted, saying, "You are a very pretty boy." Fortunately, my food, nasi goreng, arrived just in time. I devoured it hastily and promptly requested the check, eager to escape the discomforting encounter and avoid any further interaction with him. Much to my dismay, the man requested his check, even though more than half of his food remained untouched. As I settled the bill and made my way out, he muttered something in Malay. I simply said, "Bye," and exited. The night was growing late, and the streets had quieted down. After walking for a while, I reached an intersection. While waiting to cross, I noticed the man from the restaurant across the street. He was undeniably looking at me, but averted his gaze in the opposite direction when I caught sight of him. Perhaps he had to head the same way. It wasn't entirely improbable. Nevertheless, I hastened my pace. As I approached my building, I found myself glancing back repeatedly, half expecting to see him. Yet there was no sign of him. Upon reaching my destination, I scanned the surroundings one last time, and I noticed down the road the man from the restaurant standing at an intersection, staring in my direction. I felt my heart drop. It became evident he was following me. Swiftly, I entered the building, securing all doors before heading up to my apartment and double-checking all the locks. Thankfully, nothing transpired that night. Our building boasted high security, with all floors, amenities, doors and lifts accessible only by a key card exclusive to occupants. The following evening, seeking solace from the city's chaos, I ascended to the rooftop around 1 a.m. The deserted pool beckoned as a peaceful sanctuary, offering the perfect solitude I craved. Submerged in the cool water, I ignited a cigarette, leaning back and losing myself in the contemplation of the night sky. Minutes passed in profound thought, until a greeting shattered the silence. To my shock, the man from the restaurant entered the pool area with an eerie smile, sending a shiver down my spine. A million red flags unfurled in my mind simultaneously. How had he gained access to this supposedly private refuge? Initiating a conversation, he attempted to draw me in, but I hastily exited the pool, pretending to have urgent matters to attend to. Racing back to my unit, I ensured all locks were tightly secured, the unsettling question of his unauthorized entry lingering in my thoughts. Back then, I was an immature idiot, failing to take the necessary steps like complaining to building security. Regrettably, I chose a more foolish path in the days that followed. The consequences of my immature decisions escalated when, a couple of days later, the doorbell pierced the silence at 2 a.m. I pondered over who could be seeking entry at such an unearthly hour. Peering through the peephole, I discovered the man from the restaurant. A chill ran down my spine, freezing me in place as I hesitated to respond. Rational thinking urged me to call the police, but instead, I succumbed to one of the stupidest decisions I've ever made. Desperate knocks echoed on the door, accompanied by his pleading voice. "Friend, it's me. Please open up." I stood motionless, the air thickening with tension as he persistently jiggled the locked handle. After an agonizing 5 minutes, he retreated, disappearing into the corridor. However, the lingering shadow confirmed he was still outside, a silent reminder of his presence. A surge of anger pulsed through me, propelling me to swing open the door. In one swift motion, I seized him by the collar, slamming him against the wall. "Why the fuck are you after me, motherfucker? Stay away from me or I'll carve you open and pull your bloody guts inside out," I threatened, my rage evident. Visibly terrified, he met my rage-filled gaze. I delivered a swift smack across his head and he crumpled to the ground. Whimpering, he hastily scurried away, vanishing into the obscurity of the night. Considerations of bravery quickly morphed into self-admonishment. I realized my perceived courage was a fool's delusion. He could have been armed, perhaps with a knife or worse, a gun. Reflecting on my own recklessness, I couldn't fathom why I had acted so foolishly. Weeks later, I found myself back at Kampong Café. As I settled in and placed my order, my eyes caught the sight of that same man. This time, a wave of fear swept over him as our eyes met. His face turned pallid, a stark transformation from the confidence he once exuded. Overwhelmed with a sudden sense of dread, he hastily left, and our paths never crossed again. Thank you for watching AIK Dastan, where every tale is a testament to the human spirit and every voice resonates with the truth as they perceive it.